Yes, agriculture is the number one. Number one, yes, the number one. Oh yes, the number one.
Good morning, Grenada, Carrico, Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, and everyone listening in Radio Land. I am CJ, this is Real FM, and today's Agriculture Thursday. I've got JD with me, so I'll turn over right now.
Good morning, listeners. I do hope you had a very good night rest and look forward to what the day will bring. Life never seems to be the way we want it, but we should live it the best way we can. There is no perfect life, but we can fill it with perfect moments. We're now going to moments of meditation and inspiration. This morning we'll look at God's presence. The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will renew you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 17. We cannot fulfill our purpose without God's presence. Anything outside God's presence leads to struggle and pain. It opens doors for the enemy to take charge of our life. As the deer pants for the water brooks, so our soul should pant and long to be in God's presence. Psalm chapter 42, verse 1. God created us to live in his presence. We should not allow any hurt, suffered, trial we are going through, sin we have committed, blessings we have received, a level we have attained in life, make us neglect, hide from getting bored with God's presence. Even when we have sinned, God is waiting with open arms to receive us in his presence. Just as a fish cannot survive outside water and needs to be in water to thrive, we cannot survive these challenges and uncertain times outside of God's presence. The more time we strive and shine will be beneficial for God's presence. God is omnipresent. He is everywhere. Even if you don't recognize or experience his presence, we need to see God's presence, especially in times when we feel he is far away from us. How do we see God's presence? By spending time alone in prayer. God draws near to us when we draw near to him. This is pray without ceasing. The more time we spend with God, the more we will become aware of his presence. Repentance. Sins block us from experiencing the presence of God. When Adam and Eve sinned, they were cast out of God's presence. If you are not experiencing God's presence because of sin, please understand that God does not abandon you when you sin. It is you who leaves him because of guilt. When you repent, you start to experience his presence again. To experience the benefit of God's word, we need to study God's word, the scriptures. The word of God helps us to sense God's power in our lives. Proven benefits of God's presence. God's presence brings joy. If you are broken and feel hope is lost, tired of being happy one moment and sad the next, having joy of the Lord will cause you to live a happy and fulfilled life. The joy of the Lord shall be your strength. God will fill us with joy when we are in His presence. Spiritual growth. It is being in the presence of God that we will be able to know who He is. You also get to see why He loves you so much and your identity with Christ. Divine rest. Are you feeling restless and tired? Are the challenges of life making you feel overwhelmed? Do you wish you can just get a moment of rest in your life? Rest comes from spending time in the presence of God. You only need to get to walk in it daily and allowing Him to reveal Himself to you. Peace. Having the peace of God does not mean you would not have a problem. You can have peace that will surpass all understanding in the storm. When you relax in God's presence, His peace will flood your heart and you will be able to rest. Confidence. When you put your hope in people, you will end up being miserable and cause you to lose confidence. Spending time in God's presence, you will have confidence. Not yielding to the flesh. One of the great benefits of God's presence is us to be spiritually minded and will not yield to the flesh. A desire to please God. You cannot practice the presence of God and come out the same. God's presence will remove every evil desire from your heart and fill it with the desire of His. Divine protection. God promised in His word that He will never forsake us. We may try to protect ourselves, but God's protection is the best. Our Heavenly Father knows how to shield us from every manner of evil. A divine power. The power of the world is where people are influenced, where people use influence, money, and weapons to showcase their power. But the divine power of God will be felt when we practice His presence. Brings healing. We all go through things that leave us wounded. Our past experience will leave us hurting and broken. Some of the pain cannot be dealt with our own strength. We would need God's presence in our life to break out the prisons of despair and depression. Spending time in God's presence will shatter every chain of depression. We need to be intentional about spending time in God's presence. It is only by spending time with Him our joy becomes complete. We will grow in faith and fulfill our destiny. God's presence is everywhere, but it is only by accepting Jesus Christ and practicing His presence that we will enjoy the benefits of His presence. Knowing God is what is with you and for you and will help you triumph over sin. Will you walk in the power of the Holy Spirit and become the person that God wants you to be? Prayer. Dear God, we humbly come before you today and thank you for your presence with us. Your promise to never leave us nor forsake us. Even on days that are long and dreary, days that may leave us weary and empty, know that you have not left us. In the days when our circumstances have consumed us, you hold us, you are with us, and will not let us go. Even the darkness is not dark to you, for you are the creator, and the light of your presence shine through our darkest days. We thank you for your presence that brings help and healing, restoration that can transcend, renew, and revive us. When we feel far away from you, make us even sure of your divine presence. When we are in distress, all we have to do is call upon you. Cover us with divine protection. Let us soak into your presence. Drive out any spirits of negativity and hopelessness. Let light cover darkness, peace cover anger, and healing to cover pain. May your presence heal broken relationships and hurting families. Watch over us, watch over our souls, and take our burdens. Let the power of your healing presence be revealed in our lives. Take control for your presence. Take control, for your presence is the only salvation to the problems that in this fallen world. You are more than able to accomplish everything. Thank you for hearing our prayer, which we do with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. So I heard we have guests this morning,
Yeah, we're
Daily.
supposed to be having Mr. Bristol from Oasis, who was on the radio, I think 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also coming in with an agronomist from St. Lucia today. So we should have a good program this
Okay.
morning.
So let's see what we can have here. Bring back.
Yes, agriculture is the number one. Number one, yes, the number one. Oh yes, the number one. It's the number one. Why you disown agriculture? I'm talking to the youths of this nation and those wicked politicians, like they want to structure the plan. Well, from to the revolution, agriculture was on top. Man, Jack and didn't do too bad. After that, you know the old thing flap. Why everybody want to sit down in computer, and they forget agriculture. Oh yes, everybody want to sit down in computer, agriculture, and they forget agriculture. Oh yes, everybody want to sit down in computer. You put me through with a clothes, and they forget agriculture. Everybody want to sit down in computer. I tell you just now, my brothers, all you go with them computers. Lord. We used to ship 20 hectares all the way down to Trinidad during the revolution. We used to use up all the food that we had. When we could do nutmeg and banana was at the highest level. Now the youth them don't want to take over from the elders and continue. Oh, that's why everybody want to sit down in computer, and they forget agriculture. Oh yes, everybody want to sit down in computer, agriculture, and they forget agriculture. Oh yes, everybody want to sit down in computer. You put me through with a clothes, and they forget agriculture. Everybody want to sit down in computer. I tell you just now, my brothers, all you go with them computers. Lord, Lord, Lord. All over the world you go. Agriculture is number one. The soil is so rich and pure, but the youth cannot understand. Well, at the education you have managed and ignore the soil. Everybody want to work in office, and I know the reason why. Yes, man, everybody want to sit down in computer. And they forget agriculture. Oh yes, everybody want to sit down in computer. Agriculture, and they forget agriculture.
Agriculture, a pillar in the Grenadian economy. Gittins Home and Garden Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. They supply fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings, and nursery items, diesel water pumps, walk-behind tillers, organic and environmentally friendly agricultural inputs, serving you from 2 locations at Birch Grove and booth number 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. Cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Gittins Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call them on 409-2175 or 438-4337 and enjoy their services from your farm to your backyard. Gittins Home and Garden Center. Hey, Drumsticks, if you're listening, call 442-0175. Quality cell phones with all accessories, various sizes of Bluetooth speakers for every occasion, clothing for men, women, and children of the highest quality, colognes, watches, and custom jewelry at the best prices in the nation. You can also shop for the best in baby items like disposable diapers of different brands and sizes. We have computers, fridges, microwaves, cookers, and washing machines. Also in stock are blood pressure machines and batteries for watches and more. Every deal is a steal. Visit Little England right here in the Kwese in Sutes. Call us today at 458-4111. That's 458-4111. Good morning, Drumsticks.
Good morning, CJ.
Hello.
Hello, morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning to the nation. A reading from the Word of God, Psalm 26. Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity. I have trust also in the Lord. Therefore, shall not fly. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. For my loving kindness is before my eyes, and I have walked in the truth. This is the end of the scripture reading.
Thank you very much. How is your day going so far?
Well, up here it's plenty rain.
Same here.
Yeah, plenty rain.
So let's see what the weatherman is going to tell us this morning in a couple of minutes.
Yes, I will go down with you.
All righty.
You have a nice day.
You too. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Solutions for all your needs. Visit Gittins Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call them on 409-2175 or 438-4337 and enjoy their services from your farm to your backyard. Gittins Home and Garden Center.
Who wants to save 30%? Everybody! Now more than ever, Flow understands the need to make your dollar stretch. Our new bundles can help you save 30% off your current bill. Plus, get a free speed upgrade on your in-home internet. Simply add your mobile to your current home services account and save 30%. It's easy. Sign up now and save. All on the most reliable fixed and mobile network on island. Visit a Flow store or call us at 1-800-804-2994 for more information. Flow, it only gets better. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, folks, we're going to go to the MBIA to see what the weather is going to be like today. Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. They supply fertilizers, you from two locations at Birch Grove and booth number 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. Cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Gittins Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call them on 409-2175 or 438-4337 and enjoy their services from your farm to your backyard. Gittins Home and Garden Center. Good morning, Eugene.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Tell us what kind of weather we're going to have today.
No problem. Well, good morning, listeners. Also, here's weather for today, Thursday, the 29th of September. Currently at points you're expressing cloudy and hazy conditions. Winds from the east at 5 miles per hour. Barometric pressure is 10.4 millibars, which is below normal and rising. The present temperature is 27.7 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 87%. Yesterday's maximum temperature record was 30.9 degrees Celsius, and the minimum temperature last night was 25.9 degrees Celsius. Over the past 6 hours, there was no rainfall recorded points in, and September's total remains at 70.3 millimeters. Now let's go to the public forecast for today and tonight for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. The weather is expected to be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy, with few light to moderate widely scattered showers and a low chance of isolated thunder, mainly overnight. The maximum temperature is expected to have 31.5 degrees Celsius, with winds coming from the east to southeast at 12 to 22 miles per hour. Seas are expected to be slight to moderate, with waves 2 to 4 feet in open waters. Tides are currently falling scheduled this morning at 11:30. There is a high at 5:30 this afternoon. Sunset is evening at 6 o'clock, and sunrise tomorrow at 3 minutes to 6. Just to recap, is the public forecast for today and tonight for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. The weather is expected to be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy, with few light to moderate widely scattered showers and a low chance of isolated thunder, mainly overnight. For service at Bishop International Decision.
Thank you, Eugene.
No problem.
Have yourself a good one.
You too.
Goodbye. And folks, there we have it. We have a bit of rain, a little bit of thunder. I guess I have to get Gates to give us some mixed bag of weather. So we're going back to JD. Agriculture, a pillar in the Grenadian economy. Gittins Home and Garden Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. They supply fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings, and nursery items, diesel water pumps, walk-behind tillers, organic and environmentally friendly agricultural inputs, serving you from two locations at Birch Grove and booth number 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. Cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Gittins Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call them on 409-2175 or 438-4337 and enjoy their services from your farm to your backyard. Gittins Home and Garden Center.
We got the call on our way home that something was wrong. When we got here, we saw that the entire house was engulfed in flames. Just sitting there and looking at you, basically your whole life investment going up in flames. It did take a toll on us as a family. Once we decided to rebuild, the thought came up to use the Housing Authority of Grenada. After they sent in their quotation, which we thought was very, very reasonable, we decided to go with Housing Authority of Grenada. They were very helpful. They visited the site weekly. The staff was very professional. The contractor was very professional. They delivered our house on time. The quality of work was amazing. And as you can see today, we are not disappointed. I would definitely recommend Housing Authority of Grenada for all your construction needs. With their affordable costs, high level of customer service, guidance, and building expertise, they will help you as they help us.
Now more than ever, Flow is working hard to keep you connected to the things that matter most. Your family, your work, and your favorite entertainment. We are also providing Flow Study free of charge so students can stay connected and up to date with their schoolwork. And because your safety is our high we are
with a summer sunshine loan from the Grenville Credit Union. Access up to $50,000 and add some sunshine to your carnival, your vacation, a vehicle, education, your home, and even more. Visit our offices on Jubilee Street, Grenville, or Lucas Street, St. George. Call us today at 442-8602 or email info@grandcu.org for more information. Special terms and conditions apply. Let in the summer with a summer sunshine loan from the Credit Union of Grenville. Agriculture, a pillar in the Grenadian economy. Givers Home and Garden Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. They supply fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings, and nursery items. Diesel water pumps, walk behind tillers, organic and environmentally friendly agricultural inputs. Serving you from 2 locations at Birch Grove and booth number 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. Cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Givers Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call them on 409-2175 or 438-4337 and enjoy their services from your farm to your backyard. Givers Home and Garden Center.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Mr. Bristol, I know because I've seen you before.
Yes.
And can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Eugene Gabriel. I am the management director of Media.
And you're from?
St. Lucia.
St. Lucia. Agronomist?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So welcome to Real FM, live and in person. I know, Mr. Bristol, that you had your talk expo a couple of days ago, the 27th, was it?
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
Yes. How was that?
Well, it was good. I mean, the turnout wasn't as we expected, but I believe the objective was met. The whole purpose was education and the experience. That's the most important thing. So all the vendors and the other stakeholders did represent. And I must say it was a very great experience.
Okay. So the talk and the expo that you had and the people that attended, you think that is going to be far-reaching now because the word is going to get out that Oasis is out there. The plans that they have for agriculture is a good one. So you're going to make progress.
Definitely. I mean, as throughout the expo, I mentioned that we're not looking at numbers, but we're looking at the objective, and I believe that the word is going to get out there because our purpose and our objective is to help. So I believe that as long as we stay on that path, I mean, it's impossible for people not to hear about it and farmers not to get interested in help, getting help.
Okay. Sorry, what's your name again, sir?
Eugene.
Last name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. So, Mr. Gabriel, you flew all the way from St. Lucia into the Spice Island. Is that your first visit here?
No. I was there a couple months ago doing the same agriculture.
And what do you think about our beautiful little Spice Island?
I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, we are Caribbean people,
Mm-hmm.
so we have a lot of similarities.
Okay. So what did you bring to the forum?
Information on food security.
Food security. We've been hearing a lot about food security in the past 2 years. And every Thursday with JD, BJ, and Andre, we keep talking about food security. Do you see it going in a positive direction now, or is it at a stalemate?
It is, in my opinion, if governments do not intervene
Mm-hmm.
and realize that without agriculture, we do not have an economy, we are heading down a slippery slope.
So government has to be heavily involved.
Heavily involved.
And how is that going within the program that you had? Are you reaching out to government? Are they reaching out to you? Are you collaborating?
We're trying to. day. Well, I'm not from Grenada, but we've reached out to government here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the turnout was, I mean, we had the chief vet, so that's something, you know. So it shows that there are government personnel that want to be involved. You know, the people from the university, they were there, they were heavily involved also. And must be thanks to LGU
Mm-hmm.
for coming out and laying that kind of information on animal health with us. I mean, agriculture is something that we have to realize in every single thing we do, agriculture isn't wrong.
So how long do you think it's going to take for the light bulb to go, all of us head and know that this is what we really need? Because without food, we get nowhere. We're all going to starve. Like I said,
It's not even starving.
what is it then?
Without food, we have no tourism. We have food, we have no banking, we have no vendors in the market, we have no cornflakes, we have no cheese tour, we have no juice, so the byproducts from these things started from the farm. So we have to realize we have to encompass every single aspect, every single sector.
Mhm.
Example, the banking sector cannot survive without agriculture. The banks rely on the stock market to make the investments. Corn is one of the number one product trader on the stock market. Grenada is the second largest exporter of cocoa in the Caribbean. Cocoa is traded on the stock market.
Who is the first?
I don't know. I can't remember. Well, in the world, basically.
We cannot, in the world,
Yeah.
okay. Indonesia.
Cocoa? No, cocoa is there?
Yeah.
No, nutmeg, not cocoa. Nutmeg,
Nutmeg.
is in Indonesia. I mean, no longer the second in nutmeg. we
No,
don't,
no, yeah.
we don't the land, we still don't,
So all these things we have to realize they have a trickle effect.
JD?
Yeah. Mr. Bristol,
My brother.
I must commend you on that your initiative on having that that program, that forum on Tuesday. I mean, for a start, it was very, very, very good.
Thank you very much.
And that's the beginning, and I do believe from where I see you started off. You're going to go a marathon.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
going to
you.
go a marathon.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the plan.
Yeah, and I was impressed with the people who came in, the who showcased their products. I was rather impressed. 'Cause
Yes.
I saw products that I don't know, I've never seen before. I did not even know that they were produced in Grenada at this point. And out of that, I should tell you, one of the clients who was there yesterday, I was able to submit it to about $3,000. Yeah,
That's
so-
really good.
So whatever Bobby, that I was telling the young lady, yes, it may not be a success one way, but look how we connected.
No, definitely. And the end product is what we're looking
Yeah.
at, what comes after, right? So I mean, I'm very, very happy that you mentioned that. It makes us feel really, really good, because that's the kind of information and kind of feedback we were expecting and looking for. I mean, I learned so much from that experience as well. So we all are here to learn. We all are here to collaborate. And I saw products I've never known. Many times you go into the supermarkets and you might, or anywhere, you see products and it's just natural to think it's imported. And I must say that even our packaging has really improved.
Yeah, very well,
Our
yeah.
label quality has improved, and our product quality has improved. So I mean, we must learn to develop an appreciation for our local market. And I believe if we develop an aggressive approach in supporting what we have locally, because these are the people who are they're dependent on us. They might not have the means to export, they might not have the volume to export, but if they can get the stuff sold in a local market, we can help develop their businesses to the place where they can export, right? So as I said, I really think that the experience was good and very informative and gives a lot of exposure to those who may not know.
In real estate, when they're selling houses, it says location, location, location.
Yeah.
In agriculture, you're just at a point that said that we have so many products that we make in Grenada. So who is advertising those products so that people know that they're on the market?
Well, It's so funny that you asked that, and that's our next initiative, right? Because in December, God's willing, we want to do something called Agribusiness Forum, an expo, and well, that's our plan at least, and that should be geared towards educating people on marketing, right? Educating people on financial literacy, how to spend, how to budget, how to plan. The whole work, because I mean, as a young entrepreneur, there's a lot of things that we're left to figure out on our own. And as Mr. Gabriel rightly said, without government intervention and a lot of programs in place to help young entrepreneurs, especially in agriculture, you kind of have to figure it out on your own. So that's why we are taking up the mantle. We're not going to do much talking, but we are going to do a lot of action. We are going to collaborate with, private companies and, whoever else is interested in these kind of initiatives to educate entrepreneurs, to educate farmers, because many times people do things with hope. So a man go to plant a field of watermelon and hope it sells, which is okay. And it might depend on what the market normally is, which is also okay. But it's better to have a plan.
If BJ makes it in this morning, he always said before King Hatchet was a hammer, we've been talking about agriculture. He always says that I'm going to be a dead man before agriculture come to light, because all we do is talk. So I'm happy to hear you say that you're going to talk less and act more, because I think we need action if we are going to see agriculture go in the direction that you are looking to bring it.
Yeah.
Mr. Gabriel, what are you saying?
It's true. If we continue saying what this year we're gonna push agriculture, and then next year come and say the same thing, like you said, we're gonna start. Our economy is gonna crash. We worried about a financial crisis, but without agriculture, that financial crisis is here. If we continue to push agriculture, we will not have a financial crisis. The pandemic has showed us one thing. We need agriculture to the state that we have not realized that we are so much of consumers. We consume so much overseas goods that we can literally provide ourselves here in Grenada and the rest of the Caribbean. But we worried about, how we're going to get shipping, and I understand the oil and gas situation. That is a given. But other than that, there are alternative ways to solve those problems, to solve our food security problem.
So here's a question I'm going to ask you. You're from St. Lucia. Is St. Lucia doing better in agriculture than we are in Grenada?
Yeah.
Well, that young man come out a bit fast, I like that.
From research, from what I got lately, St. Lucia is the number one in the OECS in that. Yeah.
So we need more people like you to come to, as you're joining with Mr. Bristol, which is a good thing, to bring it together so that we can really develop agriculture in Grenada. And let's stop the talking. Another thing that you said, that we produce a lot of stuff here, local, that we don't export, and you learn that. Now, the price range is something that people look to when they go to the supermarket to buy local stuff, because it's more expensive than those that they send with the boats and the plane and all that to cargo. It's more expensive. Is there a way that, we can explain to the people it has to be a little bit more expensive because of what they're doing, the process that is going through, that we can buy it off the shelf and not say, oh my gosh, this is so expensive? Then we can support our own instead of importing stuff from out there.
Okay, let me use an analogy. You ever drink Fiji water?
Yes.
You like the taste of it?
No.
All right. Why is Fiji water so expensive?
You come from Fiji? From the land of Fiji?
Because of the way they market it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, we live in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
We are exotic people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are. We market our products as that, then that's what we need to do. We have to understand, when we make a product in Grenada or St. Lucia or Dominica, the quality of what we make is not just make a bottle of pepper sauce, but the story behind that pepper sauce.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small family business that started to make that pepper sauce. Where your raw materials are coming from. When you buy a bottle of pepper sauce from the US, you now have to wonder if it's Indonesia or if it's someplace in Mexico to get that raw material from. They mass produce. So even the health risk of buying an overseas pepper sauce is 89% or 90%. You might just get sick. But you know there is a 10% chance. Yeah, you might get sick or pepper sauce in Grenada, but you know it's locally made and the quality that you are getting is second to none.
I like that.
So the price range, you have to understand, it will always be higher. And we in the Caribbean, one thing we don't use preservatives in our food that we Michelle. So there is no need. There is no need for it. So whatever preservative that they use, they mass produce, they add to our food. We don't in the Caribbean. So literally you're actually eating more organic foods here than the imported food.
Well, of course.
More expensive.
Yep, we were born eating organic food, as we know. We grew up on that.
Yeah. It's about $1, $2, $3 a month. Think about local products instead.
I always say to people that when you go to the grocery store and you buy stuff, read the labels, read it, because I remember one doctor said if you cannot pronounce the word that's on the label, then it's not good for you to eat. And I know when you're reading, say you buy something like, say, your chocolate, we all know the first thing in it's going to be cocoa. What's the second? If it's sugar, then you know you're in trouble, because the higher up on the food label the stuff is the more stuff that is in it. So if you buy chocolate and know chocolate is the first thing, and way down at the bottom there is sugar, that means it's okay for you to eat it because your diabetes won't spike or anything of that, because it's way down on the food label. JD, do you have something to tell us?
Before JD go on, I just want to add to what Mr. Eugene is saying, because those are conversations I've been having for years. And one of the things that we must consider, a lot of the materials that we have to use to produce these local products, we don't make them in Grenada. So there is an import cost. We have to bring in the bottles, whether it be glass bottles or plastic bottles, the covers, right? We have to do the labels, right? And I mean, a small entrepreneur don't have the mean to print 20,000 labels to get a better deal. So now you can only print 20 at a time or 30 at a time. It's going to be more expensive. So, when you see a product, it's not only the product in the bottle or in the bag or whatever it is. There is cost that's attributed to putting it together. So I don't think that saying our local products is expensive is a good enough excuse to not support our local manufacturers or suppliers, because they are really trying their best efforts. And I have products in the market as well, and I know what it feels like. We have our own rat poison on the market, and we have to put it in a bag.
Don't call it rat poison, say rodent food.
Rodent food or rodenticide. We have to put it in a bag. We have to put a label on it. We have to seal it. I mean, that's labor. Sometimes you have to hire somebody to do it. So there is a lot of different costs. I mean, I can afford a big machine. So physical labor comes with a cost. So I think that we just need to sit down sometime and think, and we can develop a deeper appreciation for what we have here. And to what he said, the health benefits I mean, how do you put a price on that? You can put a price on your health.
Sure.
Right? To know that your Farmer John, you could go to Farmer John farm and see where your peppers coming from, or see where your watermelon, whatever it is coming from. That's a benefit. You can't put a price on that.
So what crops do you grow in St. Lucia that we could grow in Grenada to make the market as great as it is in St. Lucia?
It's not even about the crop.
What is it about?
It's really about diversifying.
Say that in layman terms for me to understand.
Okay, so we all know bananas was something that made the money. 95% of all lawyers, doctors, nurses that are over the age of 45 now, their parents are farmers. And their parents didn't want them to go into farming. But the younger generation, like myself, that are actually in farming, we have to diversify. So if your parents used to grow bananas, go into a high value crop like dragon fruit or pine.
And our soil is capable of growing all this like grapes and dragon fruit, because dragon fruit is ready from Jamaica to begin with, to start off with, because that's the first place I heard of dragon fruit in the Caribbean. Yep, I said in the Caribbean, the first I heard of it is Jamaica. So okay. A lot of us. Because it takes like 18 months for it to get where it's going. But 18 months to 2 years, and who wants to wait for that when they can buy it in a can?
I have pineapple in the back of my yard.
The different
And
types. The sucker, which comes out on the side of the plant, will bear faster than the one on the crop.
Then they want to try.
Yeah, so between 18 months, and then so 18 months, 18 months.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, plant correctly. We plan ahead. We have a shortage of pineapple in Guinea.
When you say plant ahead, you mean plan ahead?
Okay, so you start a pineapple project.
Mm-hmm.
You need to give yourself 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, from inception to profitability. You plant your first crop, let's say 10,000 pineapple plants. You know it takes 18 months, like he said, 18 months to get ready from seed to harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Before that crop gets to 18 months, you plant another 10,000. So by the time you harvest, if you harvest your 10,000, you have another 10,000 that will be ready in a week or so. And then again, you continue that cycle. You know what you're planting.
Consistent growing.
Consistent.
Mm. I like that plan, but how can we implement it in our education and assistance from the higher powers?
Yeah, government, the Extension Office, Ministry of Agriculture. And again, sorry to say,
Don't be sorry, say it is if it's the truth.
your Extension Office is shit.
You have to say another word besides the SHIT.
Your officers, from what I've experienced from the last 6 months, as I've said before,
Mhm.
here again, it's crazy. When you really could tell a farmer that what he's seeing is not what he's actually seeing there, and you're diagnosing his issues. And I'm standing here, you not knowing I'm a foreigner that is in the business, and you asking him to use X, Y, and Z. The farmer is left confused. If I was not there to already solve that issue, I just wanted to see how far that person would have gone with the issue. The farmer could have lost his entire crop.
So you're saying that the extension officers need a class to tell them what it is that they have to do right?
Yeah, they need more training. I mean, you don't have farm schools in Grenada, but it has moved way past schools. People watch agriculture as, we get up in the morning 6 o'clock, we go pick up a pickaxe or a shovel or a spade or a fact to put in the garden. No, the chemistry behind it. The pests and diseases that we had 100 years ago or 50 or 20 years ago have literally modified themselves to now. And yet we teach it in the stuff from 20 years ago.
Well, let me tell you, they'd like to hear that and they wouldn't like you then saying that about.
And I like that. My parents said they should know I rattle a lot of cages and it don't matter to me because agriculture is my priority. I don't do this for fame or fortune. I do this because I have kids. So I have to teach them. And if I cannot come to a Caribbean and say, Bristol, you taught this is not the correct way to do it. But but try this. Try that. We went to a farmer, Mr. Patrick, a couple of days ago, and he asked me wait, you're a chemical creator, because that's what I do. I create my own agrochemicals.
Mm-hmm.
But yet you give me ways to actually, where that you're actually losing money. I said, no. I can teach you to create your own because you need to be sustainable. There's things I cannot teach you to make because you do not have the area to make it. But I can teach you to create the nutrient that you need when you're in the forest, where you have to walk 6-7 miles. If you cannot teach the farmers to do it on their own, you have already lost the battle.
Now you're talking about Grenada. Mr. Bristol is Grenadian and he's from Grenada. Somebody's going to say to him, well, why you sit there and let this man talking about Grenada? Like, who tell him he's the be all and end all of agriculture? Mr. Bristol, how are you going to defend yourself?
Well, I don't think that there is a trend in terms of myself. I believe that if anyone is looking, the facts are there, and I'm not just sitting in my office. We're in the field talking to the people who's been affected. It's just like, there has just been a hurricane, and you go on a PA system telling people about the importance of preparing for a hurricane. It's too late. You tell them that after hurricanes, you need to tell them how to build back their houses and what they should do next time, right? You need to tell them how they can move from where they are to where they want to be. And these conversations, it's uncomfortable conversations, it's real conversations, because what he's saying, he's just airing the concerns of the farmers, but they're saying, and it's to come across respectful or as offensive or as harsh. But the reality is, the world is very modern, and agriculture is very modern. There's modern technologies, there's modern strategies that has to be implemented in order to deal with the problems that comes with agriculture now. I've been in pest management for many years. We have a blight epidemic in Grenada, what we call blight, right? Killing out a lot of the fruit trees. People are not recognizing it, but you have blight around, killing those. So before you know, these fruit trees that's essential to Grenada for the bees, and other insects that depends on them for the nectar and so on, they will not be there anymore. And the question is, what are we doing to address these things? These are problems, and it's real problems before us, right? And conversations like this needs to be had. We need to have these conversations, and we need to grow up and be mature and feel uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's not agree. You and I may not agree on everything. I don't hate you. We can still be friends. But the reality is, if I use my feelings to deal with the future of my family, I cannot put my children's life on how I feel. It has to be what's real, what I can impact and help, and how we can move from where we are to where we want to be.
You both of you talk about your children, and I like that, because when we are gone, they are behind to carry the torch.
Definitely.
And if we do not teach them now, then we're in big trouble.
Definitely.
Big one. So as you said, it's not something that to make you comfortable. If we are uncomfortable, then wake up and smell the coffee.
No, definitely.
Get acting, get action. And another thing you just said about the world and everything, if BJ was here, his words are always, we're living in a world that is evolving. We do not stay one place at a time, but we are in Grenada, same as though we are stagnant. We talk, according to them, blah, blah, blah. Nothing happens.
A lot of farmers, like every Thursday, I am on 93.3
3.3.
Discussing agriculture every Thursday night in Grenada. Every Thursday.
Did you know that we have an agriculture program here every Thursday?
No, I don't.
Well, you know now, so you know what you are.
So the thing is that the farmers are calling and literally begging for help. I know it's not work. I'm in St. Lucia on that call, speaking to farmers in Grenada. It cannot be me alone that is hearing farmers. You are government, you are NGOs, you are associations, you are cooperatives. What's going on? We need to address the problem to help those people. If you cannot understand the plight of the ordinary man or the ordinary farmer, you have lost the battle. Agriculture, like some of the Grenadian farmers have said, we ain't going nowhere. Agriculture dead.
Well, Jerry here is a farmer. He has been farming for a long time. So he knows the farm. Maybe he give us some enlightenment on what the farmers are going through that you are talking about, if it's real or unreal.
Yeah, they have quite a lot. I mean, knowledge. In farming, you cannot depend on like government also certain things government will help, right? But you have to get knowledge of what's going on. I mean, and the world is changing, and you know the way the farmers do things is from way back when. The continual thing, the same process. I have seen some of them. They would plant corn. I was telling a gentleman once. I said, and he said, I have a lot to plant it. I hope my mother tell me to plant corn. So there's the different ways and it's in outer modern ways and changes in the world. But they don't get themselves with knowledge. That's one of the biggest problem. Knowledge.
Like I must add as well, JD, right? Government has a responsibility, and we can't hide from that.
They do it.
The reality is as well is that individual effort has to take place from farmer or from entrepreneurs standpoint, right? Because at the end of the day, staffing, men on the ground, all these things is sometimes the limitations that government may have, right, in terms of getting certain things done. But we have a responsibility to educate ourselves. I mean, we're living in a modern world where everything on the internet. You could find papers, you could find documents, you could find research, you could find studies on how to better your operations. So to sit back and say, "Don't come by me, 10 years now, all my card go die." But really, like, we find time to do everything else. And I think that we have responsibility. Don't try to just pass the baton around, but sometimes you have to hold it in your hand for a little longer and say, "Hey, what about me, boy? What am I not doing? Did I go out and really try to get information? Did I try to seek private help?" Because sometimes if you can't get to a certain place, then you look for another source, right? But it's not to just sit back and say, "Okay, this is what I know and this is it." We have a responsibility to get up to the time.
Sure.
Because, as I said, time waits for no man.
Quite true.
And agriculture ain't waiting for nobody.
Are we taking any calls, Jerry?
Yeah, we're taking calls. But when you taking a break,
Yeah.
when you take a break, I want to feature on Mr. Gabriel.
So we can take one call now.
Yeah, take a call. Yeah, take call.
Good morning. And caller, remember, we only have 2 minutes because we have a tight schedule.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'd like to know, you are not speaking about the short crops, but we had some celery and some lettuce. Could you help me with like something that we could do with the spots on the lettuce and the celery, please?
What is the issue?
Pardon?
What is the issue with the celery and the lettuce?
Celery, they have in the spots.
So it's a type of fungus. Yeah.
Pardon?
It's a type of fungus.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a type of fungus. So if you close to an agrochemical store, you could use something like Acrobat, or better yet, you'll have sulfur in Grenada. Use sulfur. Use hydrogen peroxide.
You know what I could do? I could always call CJ and get a help from her because I'm vision impaired. It's just because of my son. I'm just,
Okay, I'll take the information and then I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you so much.
Sulfur and hydrogen peroxide.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll get that for you. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go to a break and then we'll come right back.
And on 0, Mr. Gabriel.
Agriculture, a pillar in the Grenadian economy. Gibbons Home and Garden Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. They supply fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings, and nursery items, diesel water pumps, walk-behind tillers, organic and environmentally friendly agricultural inputs. Serving you from 2 locations at Birch Grove and booth number 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. Cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Gibbons Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call them on 409-2175 or 438-4337 and enjoy their services from your farm to your backyard. Gibbons Home and Garden Center.
Life may be handing us 100 reasons to cry, but we'll do our best to give you 100 reasons to smile. Right here on Real FM.
Yes, agriculture is the number one. Number one, yes, the number one. Oh yes, the number one. It's the number one. Why you disown agriculture? I'm talking to the...
And we are back with Mr. Bristol, Mr. Gabriel, and Mr. JD.
Yeah, I want to zero in on Mr. Gabriel. You're agronomist, right?
Yes, I am.
So agronomist must come from somewhere. I mean, I say somewhere, like a food must come from a plant.
Yeah.
So I guess you come, your background is in agronomy. So exactly what is agronomy?
Okay, so agronomy is the study of plants, or basically general agriculture, we like to call it in the Caribbean. Like you are a specialist in an area. Yeah. I started my agricultural background from South Louis Community College, but before that, my family has been farming since 1806 in the Caribbean. We originated from Ireland. Moving forward, about 95% of all my family are farmers to this present day. We entrepreneurs. When I actually left St. Lucia for the first time to travel in 2000, I moved to the UK, I was so astonished as to see how people farm. When I got a little job on a sheep farm, it was surprising to see how we do it and how they do it. Fast forward, I became a green investment officer in the US, and I literally used to pay farmers to grow corn, to grow squash, to grow peppers. Walk to you, tell you, you know what, I have $1 million for you, I need to grow this one. As a green investment officer for the company I used to work with. Then started work for Cargill. Cargill is one of the biggest agricultural companies in the world. And they taught me what agriculture really is, how to see it from a perspective as the farmer itself may be growing that food for you, but traceability and quality is the two main important things that we have to look for. So we go to that farmer, we say, Mr. Bristol, I want you to grow some turkeys for me. We need to know where exactly those hatchlings came from. From hatchling to pen to supermarket shelf to your kitchen. So if when you get to your kitchen you realize the turkey has an issue, then you could pull up that barcode and literally either you could watch a video or watch the document that shows you where it came from, what it was fed, how long it was kept, how it was slaughtered. So you have the accountability aspect of agriculture. And all those experiences made me the expert today to actually own 2 agricultural companies within the Caribbean. I own my own agrochemical company, which is Henny Agrochemicals, with myself and my 2 sons. And I own a seed company, which is a non-GMO organic variety of seed. So no treatment, no the heirloom varieties, the first generation varieties. A couple of days ago, even at the show, when I told them, we actually have heirloom varieties, they were like, you have heirloom varieties? They're much more expensive than the variety we're accustomed to. But when I start to explain to them the quantity in the packets of seeds to the price, they were, you saw it for yourself.
Yeah, I did.
They were like, how is that possible to be that price for that quality of seed? And they loved it. I'm telling you, it's not about the money. It's about making sure that the farmer has what he or she needs to get where she needs to go. It's like taking a bus in the morning. We need to get to work. We get up point A to point B. And if we cannot see agriculture is just that, a business helping food security in our country and our region.
I see.
Yeah, the next question is, why is agronomy important?
We need experts in the field. We need, again, climate change is real. We have superbugs out there. We have chemicals that we have used years ago that do not work now. So we need people like myself to teach us or to teach the farmers out there that what chemicals to use, when to use, how to use, how to identify a crop, how to identify a certain type of road. We need to, if you pull a plant and you see it have nematodes, and you just take it and you throw it, You need to understand those things have ramifications for your farm.
What are nematodes?
Nematodes, it's imagine you put a normal rootstock like
Mm-hmm.
this. So you would see like it have little bulbs,
Okay.
literally stifling the plant itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there are actually crops that you could use to prevent that. They feed on each other. They feed on the soil. So the rhizome helps the soil prevent that type of nematode. So let me give you an example. There is something called bacterial wilt or Fusariumia wounds. You know what the local eggplant is?
Mm-hmm.
The local eggplant don't get it. So what we have done in St. Lucia, we have literally grafted the local eggplant onto the tomato stalk.
And that gives you what?
It prevents the bacterial wilt, which there is no cure for actually out there.
Oh, okay.
So you have to find, you need people like myself who have done research within agriculture, people within government who have done the research and development to actually teach those things to farmers, hold classes to farmers, so that people understand or farmers understand. Okay, I've had bacterial wilt for years in my soil, but I could go to that. I could plant a little while I plant. I mean, it pricks you when you touch it,
Mm-hmm.
but your tomato crop or your melon crop could survive.
Mm. As you said, you put them together, the eggplant and the tomato. I thought we were going to have eggmato or something, you know. You know,
But
put
we
them
have
together.
It has so many properties, the wild eggplant. It has cancer fighting properties. From the little balls that we see on it,
Mhm.
we used to take as a child and send me and each other. They crush it, put in your water to drink.
Okay.
So these are remedies that we follow. Even yesterday, we went to a client at Bristol, and she had a small herb garden. And they were plants that she didn't even know, like our normal Panadol.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
To her, it was oregano. Then when I sat and explained to her, she was like, wow.
Before you continue, this is a farmer. This is BJ that I've been telling you about. BJ, this is Mr. Gabriel from St. Lucia, Mr. Bristol from the Oasis
Pet and garden.
Pet and Garden, and Joe over there, JD. So yeah, I know you told JD that you're pressed for time. How much time do you have?
Okay, go ahead. We go up to half past.
Okay, 8:30. Okay, then that's
All
cool.
right. In agronomy, right, there are certain things that we have to take care of. For instance, like soil health,
Mhm.
water matters, like nutrients, pests and weeds. That's one of the main
Pests and diseases.
pest and disease and weeds. These are some of the main components that we look at. And in doing that, if we could be able to get good production. So can you elaborate on
Okay, so I will start with soil health.
soil health? That's yeah.
We have to understand there's a difference between soil and dirt. Soil is alive.
And dirt is dead?
This is not.
Okay.
The amount of life that is in the soil, you will be fascinated by it. We may not see it moving with the naked eye. We may not see the microbes working, but it is there to help us. Without soil, the nutrients that we buy, the fertilizers that we buy, we will not even realize how much symbiotic relationship it has on our crops. All right, so let me give you an example. Do you know the bean we call a salad bean?
Mm-hmm.
The salad bean carries a specific rhizome that helps the soil. So you realize it quick, once it starts to bears, you realize it starts to turn brown. It gets fungus, because it feeds the soil so much of its nitrogen that it creates. Yeah, it feeds the soil so much with the nitrogen that it creates. So we have to understand there are crops that help each other and benefit the soil. We do not harvest the salad beans and then pull out the stalk. You till it into the soil to become soil itself, to become nutrients for that soil. Yeah, you all have an abundance of kelp within Grenada. It looks like the cut grass. Let me touch it. Or the cane grass. It looks like the cane grass, but it's a dark green.
Mm-hmm.
You could use that in your soil as compost to give you your micronutrients from the sea, which is much more healthy for your crops. Like St. Lucia, Grenada has abundance of sarcasm. It is my opinion that we do not use it.
Don't?
No, because it carries a lot of heavy metal, and the research that have been done on the sargassum seaweed, as much as some may say it may have a lot of positive impacts, but the accumulation of the heavy metal within your body is another impact we haven't looked upon or researched to an extent.
Say that again. They should not.
They should not.
Because we heard before that, it's good for farmers to put in their soil and it's help.
It's organic matter. But again, we have to understand these things carry cadmium, mercury. It may accumulate in the soil. The plant takes it up because it's literally a micronutrient, but it accumulates in the fruit to a certain extent. But we eat it, milligram by milligram, it accumulates in us.
And what do we get at the end of the day?
Cancer.
Okay. You all are hearing this, people?
As much as it may be something of a positive nature to an extent, we have to understand the other side, the other page in the book. We need to.
BJ, Mr. Gabriel is from St. Lucia. He's an economist. So you have the floor now to say, because I was talking about you telling them that the world is evolving and we cannot stay one place and we talk about agriculture, but no action is taking place. So the floor is yours now.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, folks. Happy to see you. I was very impressed with what I'm hearing from morning. Thought it make a whole heap of sense. In fact, what I'm hearing now is making lots of sense. I want to zero in on not the chemical aspect of things, the economic aspect. And I think, yes, farmers should try to use compost as much as possible and try to do composting. This is something that is sort of a dying out in the country.
Yep.
And I don't think Grenadians understand the fact, and this is a confession, of the use and the importance of, I'm not talking about just organic matter here, I'm talking about humus.
Yeah.
Well broken down organic matter. There is no substitute for humus.
No, none.
Or pen manure, so to speak, good pen manure. There is just no substitute for it. And unless we have those little kitchen gardens like what we used to have before, and have like a livestock like we used to have before, you can do it in a more organized, scientific way now. You can do it in a more sanitized way now than you used to do it before. So you can almost keep it in your house if you want to, or close by. And unless we don't start putting back those manures in the soil, we actually depleting the soil. And my chap make a point which I want to stress on. And you already do it. That just now it wouldn't be us again, It will be with children. And if we don't leave the world properly for our children, they go blame us, like our generation blame the one before. This is what's going to be happening, a continuous blame game. We as a people, or we as a generation, need to stand up and do the right thing, because if we don't shut the eye, we know how to do the thing.
Yep.
Is the will to do it, is the policies that are in place to do it. It's the, Jerry, we can talk from now till thy kingdom come. If you don't have a national farm plan without political interference, your country cannot develop agriculturally.
We have a call, can I? Good morning.
Good morning to the persons and all of you there, because I can't remember everybody's name there.
Mr. Bridgman, we have 2 minutes, okay? Make your point in 2 minutes.
I don't have to make it in 2 minutes.
Then you will call back.
You're right. In any case, I accord with a lot what the gentleman have said there. And Mr. BJ Leno just supporting all what you said. And I want to extend it by saying that that's the first thing. We have to have a plan for agriculture. Where are we going with agriculture? And government come, government go. The same things happen. The government is going on with consultation now for agriculture, for the budget. And you're going to hear a lot of ideas get into it. By the time they quantify the budget and put all it in it, other things going to be talked about that is not being done. And it happened by every government that comes in power. And we're talking about food security now. Everything is on food security. Where is the plan for food security? We have acres of land in Grenada that is not cultivated, that is not being looked after. But every year we talk about food security, and now is the time for food security. And we hear that from every government, NMC, NDC, Revolution. Where is that? We're not making the sense that we have to make. You have estates that are abandoned. We have estates that government give people to work and still come back abandoned, not paying the workers. Where is it? So all what we put into it, all this effort that we putting in there, all the effort, all the meetings that we're having, what is the benefit from it? We have to have a starting point. And that is a failure. We don't have a starting point. What are we doing with the lands that we have? What we government talk now about planting cinnamon. That have been there since my grandmother was alive, you know. We've been talking about cinnamon since my grandmother. Where's the policy? What policy do we have?
Okay, Mr. Bridgman, you ask a couple questions. You have to give them a moment to answer. So
I will be glad they answer.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen?
It's clear, back to where we were. Unless you don't have a plan, a proper farm plan, a national one that encompasses the policy. Earlier on, your people was talking about, the personnel. You have to include the personnel too, because unless you don't have bright people like my man and them on the side there, you're not going to move the sector forward. So you have to have all of those things in place that by the year 2030, we're going to have 20 agronomists serving the entire country in specializing different fields. Unless you don't start doing that and changing the way we do things, unless we agriculture don't start evolving. For example, the role of extension has changed, People who want to see some uneducated little children walk the street and come tell you things that they don't know about themselves, and they don't even understand it themselves.
Exactly. So
it actually regress in the sector,
Yep.
Because you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your effort.
We have another call. Let's see who it is.
Good morning to you, CJ, and good morning to your panel on the radio station.
Good morning, Ms.
Welcome
Matheson.
to every single one of them. I was listening to you. Maybe I misunderstood what the gentleman was saying from St. Lucia, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I'm due to correction. Did I hear you say correctly that there is this plant that when you eat it, it gives you cancer? I'm saying it the wrong way, but did I hear you mention the word cancer?
Yes, I did.
Which plant is that?
It's not a plant. It's the sarcasm seaweed.
Oh, seaweed.
Yeah, what I said was the sarcasm seaweed carries heavy metals.
Oh.
And the accumulation of those heavy metals in our body because of our use of it may cause cancer.
Okay. Okay. Thank you ever so much. That clarified. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Ms. Matheson.
Welcome to Grenada and Grenada, yes?
Yeah.
And next time come to Carrico. I'm inviting you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So we have to understand, even from the sarcasm seaweed, the studies are there. For some reason, a few nations have said, you know what, use it. But people like the French government, you cannot use it. The Mexican report, you cannot use it. For some reason, New Zealand is using it. I'm not saying there are not uses for it in infrastructure or maybe animal feed or something of that sort, if the heavy metal could be extracted from it.
Okay.
But as per farming now, where you just take it and put it into your land. I could guarantee you, every single person who lives by the sea, and that sarcasm comes to shore and starts to ferment, the smell, when it releases that oxide, your pans in your house stand the rot. So explain to me, how could I take that and put on my farm and then tell myself it is safe? What do you think, BJ?
Well, yes, sulfur oxide oxidizes fairly easy. So once you put this thing in the atmosphere, and people with gold chain, it turn green, you know. What we have to understand about chemicals is that most of them don't kill you instantly. It accumulates, and it accumulates over a period of time. And when it do show up, you paralyze or you're cramping.
Okay.
Those things do affect your nervous system.
Yep.
And some of them, like mercury, which is, you know, in fairly large quantity in seaweed, when you get in your bloodstream, it can come out, you know.
Okay. We got another call. Let's see. Good
I
morning.
just want to say good morning to BJ and good morning to this beautiful lady and to the other Mr. there and Pastor Carl
Morning.
and everybody who's listening. Saying good morning and you all have a blessed day.
Thanks, Cami.
Yes, bye-bye.
Okay. So, Mr. Bruce, silent for the last couple of minutes.
Why?
You have nothing to say, or you're just leaving them
No,
just.
I mean, if Mr. Gabriel is speaking, it's like, you know, I'm speaking because we share the same sentiments
Okay.
on these issues. As I said, just to highlight again the importance of us understanding that government is not solely responsible for agriculture. And we need to stop blaming and pointing fingers to everyone except ourselves, because we have a part to play. So we here are doing our part. We here are doing our part to help educate, to help share knowledge, to help bring people together under one umbrella. And I mean, it's agriculture, and we have that responsibility. But farmers should not play the blame game. Find channels to get help. There are channels. Find channels to get help, and most of all, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Yeah.
BJ, I'm not where you were listening. So you heard Mr. Gabriel says these extension officers was shite.
Well, you see, there we need to take collective approach. We're not pointing fingers at anyone. We are saying that, hang on, you know something? This needs to be done collectively. The education system have to come in, you know, to basically educate with people that they need to consume some of the things that we produce. But at the same time, if your farmers aren't educated and producing the stuff that you're telling them to eat and they are loaded with chemicals, then you know better off, you know. You actually like cannibalism, you're actually killing your population. So you need to be very, very careful as to the use of chemicals. Always saying that people should have a license to go and buy chemicals, you know. You shouldn't just go over the counter and order for some of those harsh chemicals that they put in on the counter. Some of them are very, very detrimental and they're not being used properly.
We have a call and then we'll go to the commercial break. One more, please. Good morning.
Hello, good morning again. I would like to know, because not everything that you all say is there that everybody could understand, especially me. But is there a way that we could have a book or something written that we could forward look back, like my children to help me, that we could do better in agriculture?
Mr. Bristol, Mr. Gabriel, do we have a book that the caller is asking if we can? She has a book that her children can help because she is vision impaired. Yeah.
Well, not as yet. I mean, I have started, but it isn't finished. Because it's a collective thing. I have to pull references from other people who came before me, and people who are in the sector now, to actually pull that information together to make it available to Grenadians and the Caribbean. But presently, right now, the most I could do, which I've started with Mr. Bristol, is that since he carries my agrochemicals in his store and my seeds in his store, that I will be doing consultations for farmers, whether it be on the phone. He could just call me in St. Lucia, or we'll start a WhatsApp group where they could send the photos of the issues that they're having on their farm, and I could help them.
You heard that, Ms. Noriega?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I was wondering that Mr. Bristol, is there a number that people keep on repeating that they could register in my mind that we could call him also?
Mr. Bristol, number?
Yeah, you can reach us on 403-3532. Let me just get the other number. 403-7379, or they could even try the landline for the shop, which is 437-3532.
Will you be able to put it on like now and again that we can always remember?
I'll repeat it for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
I have it. So when I call you to give you the portions of the hydrogen peroxide and the sulfur, I'll also give you the numbers.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Fantastic.
Okay, bye-bye. So, who are we? We are talking to BJ, Mr. Bristol, and Mr. Gabriel.
I'm saying
so much information.
Mr. Bristol and Mr. Gabriel. We should be able to, based on the wide range of knowledge, based on what I'm hearing, and I'm sure the general public in agreement with this, we should be able to establish a link that even when they go back to the country, that we're able to tap in, maybe if it's once a month, once every 2 months or whatever, and have, carry them live so we can get all the new information. The information can be, disseminated to the general public, because they seem as though they have a wealth of knowledge and useful knowledge too.
Mr. Gabriel is Grenadian. He lives here. Mr. Bristol, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Gabriel is St. Lucian.
Well, as Mr. Gabriel rightly said, we are starting a WhatsApp group, and we use that group solely for information, right? And disseminating information. So we will find a way to get a number out there, and the farmers who are interested or people that's interested could send a number. We add them to the group, and they can use that forum to send information, and we will answer questions and direct them in the right direction and send content or documents that they can read through themselves. Because gone are the days where we don't believe in giving you a fish every time. You got to learn how to fish. You do your research. We'll give you the content, but you need to read it. You need to look at the video. Spend 2 hours, spend an hour, go through the videos, go through the content in order to learn how to go about doing what you believe you want to do.
We have a call now. Good morning, call.
Hello, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
And how is you all there?
We're
Everybody
good.
okay?
Yes, we are.
Okay, well, it's Andre Mom speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You are doing a very, very good job.
Thank
Just
you.
continue. It's educational. Continue with your work.
Thank you very much.
And you are making Andre jealous when he hears it.
Well, he's
So,
listening.
I would like you to give him my love and tell him get himself back to Grenada. Tell
Okay.
him that I missed him very much. And
Okay.
I long to hear his voice, his wonderful voice on morning.
Okay.
So ask the Lord, tell him that I am praying for him.
Will do.
So he can get fit and come back to us.
Thank you.
Okay, so you all have a nice day and God bless.
Okay. You
Okay,
too.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We'll go to a commercial break for a few seconds and then we'll be right back.
A pillar in the Grenadian economy. Givers Home and Garden Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. They supply fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings, and nursery items, diesel water pumps, walk-behind tillers, organic and environmentally friendly agricultural inputs, serving you from 2 locations at Birch Grove and booth number 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Gittins Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call them on 409-2175 or 438-4337 and enjoy their services from your farm to your backyard. Gittins Home and Garden Center.
Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always at Grandland, you come first. Save energy, save the time, reduce your wattage and reduce your time. When you use appliances, make sure you buy energy efficient every time. Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always at Grandland, you come first. Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always at Grandland, you come first.
Hear that? That is my summer sizzling in sunshine. Yours can too, with a summer sunshine loan from the Grenville Credit Union. Access up to $50,000 and add some sunshine to your carnival, your vacation, a vehicle, education, your home, and even more. Visit our offices on Jubilee Street, Grenville, or Lucas Street, St. George. Call us today at 442-8602 or email info@grandcu.org for more information. Special terms and conditions apply. Let in the summer with a summer sunshine loan from the Credit Union of Grenville.
Life may be handing us a
So we are back. And I know Mr. Bristol and Mr. Gabriel, you're pressed for time. We are at 8:31 at the moment. You said half an hour. So before you leave, I want you to give us a synopsis of what we can do and how Grenadian farmers can make themselves more productive in the field and how to join up with you and Mr. Gabriel. And we'll include BJ because we are trying to get everybody connected in the farmers thing. So knock us out.
Okay, so what I want to say before anything, it's not only plant health that we do, we also do animal health. I work with another agronomist, which is Dean Avril. He's always in Grenada. So I've linked him up with Mr. Bristol when it comes to animal health. He does both, but we only spoke about plant health today. But when it comes to animal health, Mr. Dean Avril is one of the best in the Caribbean. Yeah, so he will be working with Mr. Bristol when he's in Grenada. So you could always come on the show or log in, or even on a Thursday, I could also send him the link so he could be on to speak about agriculture in general and that where we see it. But like Mr. Bristol said, we're going to be having the WhatsApp group. His number, you can call at any time. When it comes to me, he'll also join me on a call if there's any issues, send me photos of the farms. We could do this collaboration to grow agriculture in any way, shape, or form that we see fit. We could either make it or break it. So we have to, we are family. We are sister islands. So we have to understand if one thing fails there, it will fail. It's a domino effect. And we need to organize trade in agriculture within the Caribbean. Stop wanting to export your food to St. Martin, to the US. Trade within the Caribbean. We're buying flour. How much money when we have cassava flour, breadfruit flour, banana flour, when we could trade with each other, whether it be a pallet or half a pallet of flour, we could do that. There are alternatives to sugar within the Caribbean. We need to do it. Grenada growing cane.
Mr. Bristol?
Yeah. Just to add, right? As you mentioned, animal health. We have a very, very solid relationship with the health experts in Grenada, and I must say the Ministry of Agriculture, they are doing their part with the vets and so on. It's just so much you can do. It's a lot of work, right? SGU, we just recently collected some flyers from them on different disease and sicknesses that animals could have, like dogs and cats, like pets. We have those flyers in the shop. As I said, there is a wealth of information that we will continue to have available, but the people need to do their part and take that information and put it to use. So when you take a flyer, you need to read it and don't guess. We need to stop doing guesswork. Many times we could be, for instance, just say example on animal health. Many times we deworm animals by habit, not by need. So you will take a healthy goat, healthy, nothing is wrong with the goat, and just deworm the goat. What's the purpose of deworming the goat? To deworm is to get rid of worms. And normally there are signs that you will look for to get rid of worms. But if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have that knowledge, you do it by habit. And I believe there are channels to get this knowledge. It might not be that the vets, maybe the Ministry of Agriculture could come out anytime, but you could request a flyer. You could, okay, so where can I get information on this issue? And they could direct you, okay, go to the Ministry of Agriculture website. We just post a document on this. And you could take that information. So it's not always having the physical presence of someone, but sometimes it's the information that you can take and put to use yourself. If you have 500 goats, you know, okay, you have a program in place for deworming. You have a program for whatever other situation that comes up when you're doing livestock, right? But it's very, very important to know where you can get that information. And we have no excuse because I'm telling you, you could come to the shop. We have flyers available. You could go to the Ministry of Agriculture. They have information available.
Can you tell them the address of your shop, please?
We're located in Wester Hall, St. David's, the main road, next to the Deco gas station. So in the same compound is the Deco Service Center. And as Mr. Eugene said, we will have a lot of information to offer, right? So if, as I said, if they're sending their numbers to us via the WhatsApp number, send your contact. Hey, we're interested in joining the WhatsApp group, and you could use that now to stay connected.
Okay. So I have a call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. And good morning to your guests.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, as it relates to artificial manure that is being used by farmers, could your guest give an advice to farmers as to what amount of artificial manure they can administer to the plants? Because what I observe is that, well, we all know as Grenadians, we buy our vegetables on Fridays, on Saturdays. But by Wednesday of the following week, the vegetables are no good. The cabbage start rotting, the lettuce start rotting, the okra turns black, and so forth. The beans again, it's not good. So I believe the farmers are using too much artificial manure in those crops, and I think they're doing it for a faster growth, a bigger yield, but again, it's not beneficial to us as the consumers. Two, as it relates to the people who do animal husbandry, as we'll say, the goats and the sheep, what you find is that one person might have about 6, 7 goats, and on mornings they just go and they tie out the goats, they leave it there, and 2 days after, maybe two days after, they go and they change them. So if rain comes, the goats stay out in the rain. As we say, rain, thunder, lightning, the goats are out there. No housing for the animal. You understand? So I would like to know what advice can be given to these farmers, because as you as a human being, we as human beings, when nighttime comes, we need some place to sleep. So I think the animals deserve that too. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
As it relates to the use of fertilizer and the spoilage of fruits and, well, vegetables, when it comes to that aspect, we need to understand when you go to the more organic route of growing these crops, they last longer. They will withstand the test of time on your shelf. But it's also up to you as a consumer when you buy it to store it properly. A lot of these crops have a water quantity that when it stays out in certain conditions, it dries up, gets dehydrated, it turns black. So it's not really always on the farmer himself, him or herself. So we have to play our part in doing that. So post-harvest information is something that is not only for the farmer, but for the consumer. We need to learn how to store our food properly. As it comes to the animals being out at night, I do agree with you. There are policies that should be put in place, or help farmers build those pens if it is possible. Yeah, or even a round pen to put them in at night so that they could be comfortable in some way or form.
I just want to answer that question in a general sense. And I don't want people to get me wrong. Modern day agriculture is not for uneducated people.
Yep.
If you want to do this thing properly and make it make sense and get rich out of it, you have to be educated, you know. You may do something over a period of time and it may work for you and it may sustain you and your family. Whether that's what you really want out of it, it's a different thing.
Yep.
You need to turn millionaire fairly quick when you're farming. And you have to do it in a scientific, organized, planned way, like any other business. And if you, and I'm not saying academic qualification, I'm talking about education. If you aren't educated, like you're putting down tiles and you would have to go and learn the trade and know how to cut and how to structure and how, it's the same thing with agriculture. And I think agriculture is even more intricate. Because plants don't actually speak, they show signs. They're always making signs for you.
Always.
You have a caller?
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning to the panel. Since you were on the things that come up on the sea, you know, I know CMOS is part. I don't know if it's product or whatever. I don't know if you can explain a little bit on the CMOS, because you were here saying use CMOS.
It cleans the ocean.
Good, and CMOS is too. I don't know if you can help us. Please.
CMOS and that seaweed is too different. We have a variety of seaweeds within the Caribbean. But remember, the sargassum bloom, which comes down to us in the Caribbean, is an artificial bloom that happens yearly because of chemicals that is dumped within the ocean to cause that bloom. It's the residue of fertilizers that cause that bloom from the Americas to come down to us. You understand?
Okay.
When we grow seaweed within our waters, or basically kelp purifies the water, okay, which will have a lot of ingredient there. CMOS does the exact same thing. So we have to know which is what. So if the ministry or ICA or one of those authorities could actually have a small forum to show what we have in the waters in Grenada that we could use.
Okay, caller?
Yes,
thank you. CMOS here. Is it healthy? Or...
It is healthy.
CMOS smooth.
Claire,
Yes, BJ.
You are just a building block of elements, and you're just a form of shape. Your nutrients in order for you to feel healthy and stuff. Just like that. A while ago, in fact, she was asking that if the, because the vegetables deteriorate so quickly, if it's from the overuse of fertilizer. In a lot of cases, people apply fertilizer to the soil without doing a soil test.
Yep.
Which don't really make sense. Sometimes you're just killing your soil. And in a lot of cases, you're wasting money.
Yeah, all of it. So we have to understand that we're volcanic in nature.
Exactly.
So we have a very acidic soil.
Very.
So the same way your mom is, you know what, you need to drink milk for strong bones and teeth. Your soil do not have the calcium that you think it has. So in order to get, you could literally get a source of calcium to, like agricultural lime, which is limestone, to add to your soil to help you with that. This is just one of the aspects that you could actually use for your soil to grow your crops. So again, like he said, a soil test need to be done to know exactly what you have in your soil and in what amounts you have it in your soil.
Wicked amount of chemistry, and not call it wicked because of some of the activities that take place in the soil.
That's why I keep on saying it's
For
alive.
it to be alive, yeah. If you know what is happening there, I mean, certain elements can be present. You're applying the fertilizer, but based on the pH of the soil, based on the activity that taking place there, it just stays there. The
It will
plant has
lock-
not
it will
been-
lock up
it
the
lock
soil.
it up, or it forms some nasty compound and leach and go further down or something like that.
Well, just want to add, right? As you talk about the soil testing, I believe that our company will try to embark on that service, right? So very soon, Oasis Pet and Garden should be given the service of soil testing, where you can bring samples. We will do training and so on, and show you how to receive those samples and so on. But that's a very, very important component in successful agriculture, and we will try, as I say, we're just trying to do our part.
In the last few years, it has been said that the foods that we are eating is not healthy enough to sustain all the health benefits of our body. So we have to take other supplements. Here's my real question. If the supplements we are taking is grown from other source of agriculture, like the vitamins and so, is it doing anything to our body?
Okay, so here's a question I want. You take a multivitamin daily, yes?
I don't take multi. I take single vitamins.
Okay, you take a single vitamin.
Yeah.
What is that single vitamin?
It is USANA. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's say women's one a day. Let's say women's one a day.
Mhm.
You make CMOS every day, yeah?
Not every day. I mix up my smoothies. Sometimes I just have green smoothies. I have CMOS. I have different things.
So the amount of micronutrients CMOS carries
Mhm.
is double the amount in women's one a day.
Could be. It might be more.
No, exactly. It might be more. So why would I take women's one a day or men's one a day?
Because we're not educated enough. We were told that as you
We're
get
not what?
older,
We're not what?
We are not educated
Exactly.
enough. We are told that when you get to a certain age, you need to take this, you need to take one a day because your body is, we know that we're getting older.
Exactly.
But
So
at
why
the
would
same
I?
time, well, we would, because as I said, we are told by our health physicians and everybody else that we should take this because this is what would happen to our body if we don't. Like a lot of us are suffering from osteoporosis, the bend back thingy.
Mhm.
If we don't take vitamin D and all this stuff, we age and we become like the
Yeah, because of the
hunchback of Notre Dame.
Again, it's because of the lack of calcium in our body.
Right.
But again, we have to understand what is one of the main cures for osteoporosis?
What do you call calcium and potassium? Is that together?
Salt water.
Say who?
Salt water.
Again?
Sea water.
Okay, how does that help?
Okay, so let me give you an example. I shattered my leg a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 24 hairline fractures. I was in a lot of pain. When I removed the cast, the doctor said to me, the doctor in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
he said to me, I need you to go home. Like, go home? How is going home going to help me? I'm in pain. Man said, I need you to go to St. Lucia and do beach work
Mm-hmm.
to help build your strength and the calcium back in your system, and the salt water you can do that. He said, no artificial pool could help you do that.
Okay, that makes sense.
And to be honest, I hate the beach. I hate the beach. Yeah, when I go on the beach with my friends, I carry an umbrella.
For what?
I rather be in the forest than out.
Okay.
So but it helped me to an extent where that I could have rode again.
Okay.
I was in a serious bike accident and I could have rode again. So it showed me the thing that we have and we take for granted within the Caribbean. When your body hurts, you say, go for a sea bath.
Mm-hmm.
Go for a sea bath. Even in St. Lucia, we have a walking volcano. People with skin cancer come to St. Lucia just to bathe in that walking volcano because of the temperature of the water. And trust me, it's hot.
Is it the one in Python Peak or the
Yeah.
call it? Or we call it Peter. They call it Python Peak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So between the two of them, there is a walking volcano.
Okay.
Where there is sulfur. You literally bathe in sulfur water. boiling sulfur water.
Boiled sulfur
We have one up the
Yeah.
street there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we take it for granted.
But let me tell you something. I went there once and I only once. And I dipped into that thing and the sulfur stink, you know that. And then they throw a next bucket of water and then tell me, do not wash it out when I get home. Leave it on me. And let me tell you, the whole night I'm like, God, I need to bathe. God, I need to bathe.
Yeah, but it helps a lot.
good for you.
That's what they
The
said.
amount of minerals that is in that volcano, it's amazing.
Claim magnesium, which relaxes you.
Mhm.
Seawater is loaded with magnesium. Actually, some people would buy pure magnesium and rub their belly before they go to sleep, and they find they sleep much better. That's why when people take a bath in the sea, as you reach home, you just feel different. You just
get
want to go
tired.
tired, you want to go
Yes.
sleep. The high level of magnesium.
Okay.
In fact, some people have to go wash it out, and water to rinse out and stuff like that. So we have a lot of things that we can use naturally, but as you were saying, education.
Yeah. We have a caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I think the person hung up. Yep. So people see water. I don't like the beach either. I'm with you there. I won't go in an umbrella because I don't want people to say, well, what up, she that we were here. Umbrella.
But we switched because we get a little nice, and we were talking about your personal life. Yeah, actually, we started talking about chemicals.
Yes.
You understand?
Go right
And
ahead.
Claire, farmers need to be absolutely clear as to the proper use of chemicals, pesticides, herbicide, fung, whatever. And I'm glad that we have new people coming into the fold now that are educated and not just a business person that want to earn revenue. There are certain business that a lot of people are involved in, and the service that are expected to be provided, you aren't getting it. They just sell the stuff for you and you go do what you want with it. But that's not what I'm hearing here. I'm hearing the proper usage of those things, and that is what is thrilling me. And it's young people who are getting involved in the thing, that who are thirsty for new things. And that's the way the world actually is, Jerry. The world's an evolving place, and we're stuck in our own way as to how we go about doing things. Year go, is the same thing. Claire, if you don't know where you're going, any road taking you there, because you don't know where you're going, we need to have a proper farm plan, a national one that encompasses, let me tell you, things like what? Okay, we want to cultivate 200 acres of nutmegs within the next 5 years. This is how we're doing it. We want to cultivate the people who are targeting, where the money coming from, all of those things. You want to do 2,000 acres of soursop. Those are the farms that we are targeting. This is how we're going to do it over that period of time. This is where the money going to be coming from. These are the people who are going to be, guiding that aspect of things.
Yeah.
Not this wily thing. This man going information. Next year you're asking for me travel. You don't know what is going wrong in a circle. We have to organize and structure our agriculture much better than we are doing. And if the man and them can't see that, they're not worried to be guiding the process. And I'm not talking about politicians here, I'm talking about everyone. If we cannot do it that way, then we're not even worried to partake in farming. Because Claire, what it's gonna be is that a lot of people getting involved, they get despondent, liquor farms all about the place, nothing systematic, nothing tangible, nothing meaningful, nothing sustainable is taking place. And that's what we want. And we want to have an economy whereby the farming sector can sustain the people that are involved in it. Or else we're going to keep nagging at government and doing all kind of wrong things and saying wrong things to.
Yeah, true. I mean, and one thing I'm an advocate for is being appreciative, right? And when someone does good, you need to highlight the good. right? And I believe that the government is doing their best. I
Mhm.
believe they're trying. I firmly believe that. So I'm not on the bandwagon of casting this aside and
Right.
getting no. We have to work together.
Mhm.
That is how it's going to work.
A collaborative
We
effort.
have no political ties. We're not into this. We're just into getting farming or agriculture where it should be. As you rightly said, a plan. Part of the things that we do at our store, when a farmer come in, from the time you buy something from us, we consider you our friend. A friend does call you, a friend does ask you how you're doing, a friend does ask you what you're doing with what you bought. Are you putting it to good use? And we will show you how to put it to good use. So when you buy seeds, from the time you buy the seeds to, we'll ask you, okay, when you're going to germinate the seeds. Give you 2 weeks, call you back. Are you ready to plant the seeds? Are you ready to plant the seedling? What did you do to prepare for the soil for planting the seedlings? Because it's not just about planting. You need to have a preventative plan in place. Pests and diseases could never overwhelm you if you prevent them. Never.
It's cheaper too.
And it's cheaper to prevent. And you use less because damage control is what's expensive.
And here, somebody who is selling chemicals are saying, hang on, you know something? Guys, it's better to prepare. It's better to have good soil sanitation. It's better to have deep plowing. It's better to put in your drainage. It's better to have your mulch. It's better. Here, and he sell chemical. You understand what I'm saying? You can tell we had lies.
We are almost at the end of our program, which is in 3 minutes. We have one caller, so are we taking?
Okay.
Good morning, caller. You have 1 minute to state your
Okay,
concern.
1 minute. I got to conclude with most of what BJ was saying there, because that's what I was saying, that you earmark the areas, you earmark what is necessarily needed, and you look for areas to plant what is needed. For instance, bananas. If you get back into bananas, there are persons and people and areas that you would not encourage people to put on bananas.
True.
Right? And government have to have that streak in them that you would not. You going into cocoa, we must have an idea of whether you can cultivate cocoa in that area. For instance, we're talking about sugarcane. Did you know that there was people that wanted areas in Douglaston for sugarcane? And we found it ideal. Encourage the crop that can be grown. Look at the feasibility of it and look at the costing of it. So you know how much people you actually need. For instance, St. Lucia is doing bananas now. Can we ship bananas to compare it with St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and make money? These are the things that are supposed to be looked at now.
True. Well, I must add, right? Something that the government has done with the plant distribution program, they don't give you varieties that would not function based on your location. So I must commend them for that as well, because that's I have noticed that.
If you're talking about cocoa plants.
Yes, well, in cocoa plants, I think it's cocoa plants, and there are some other plants as well.
You use different varieties. For instance, over 500 feet up, they're like
Right.
not to plant cocoa.
Right. So they've taken that
But
initiative.
they are still seed cocoa that can grow fairly well there. So you have to start out all that.
Clifford, you have to let the gentleman finish his statement because you're almost at the end of the program.
Okay.
Right. Well, you see, as well, what we must take into consideration, these people are experts, right? And they have done their research. They have done the research over a period of time. They've done the research over a period of years. And not because something could grow in an area mean that you should plant it there. Because if at a lower belt, you're going to get 10,000 pounds, and at a higher belt, you're going to get 5,000 pounds. Why put it at the higher belt? Put it where you're going to maximize profitability, and put the one that's going to grow better at the higher belt there. So it doesn't, it may not be wise to mix it just because it can happen. You want to maximize outcome, so you put things where it should be.
Aren't you find, Claire, that the results that you're getting from Maribor propagating station these days are much better than what used to be before? The simple reason is that you have educated people now running those things.
Bingo. Well, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you so much for appearing on Agriculture Thursday on Real FM. We'd like to say thank you to JD for inviting both Mr. Gabriel and Mr. Bristol and BJ. You know the address here. We'll send you the link so you can make appearance again in the next couple of weeks or so to give us more upbeat statements on what is going on in your oasis and St. Lucia, we don't want to hear that you're doing better than Grenada, but we'll take that for now.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I know we took up more of your time, but